Hey, Paulie, today we're going to talk about marketing, and I'm going to give 3 top tips that I find myself repeating to young coaches regularly.
Lovely.
All right, so let's start by first giving a little overview of why the marketing piece is important. It's often a bit of a dry topic when you're not of the view that it's an important business activity. And I think as a young coach, PT, you often don't realize that it is quite pivotal in your business because, most of us can pick up a handful of clients just from our friend network. Or those around us, people in the gym, etc. But then when things get a little bit bigger, maybe you decide you want to sort of go after a particular group, like a particular subset of the population, a niche, if you will, or you want to build like an online product and start to speak to more people or whatever, or you go and open a gym, right? And then your marketing requirements become more significant. And it becomes more important, and it becomes, and you're like, oh, fuck, how do I do this? And so social media, let's use that as the backbone for this discussion because what I say in the coach's cert is that like social media is the simplest, most accessible form of marketing that we all have access to, and we do it every day. Most of us are engaging with it every day, I should say. So
and our market is too.
Yeah. So whichever platform that is for you, right? Instagram, TikTok, whatever, you're there most of the time. And so, one of the first rules of marketing is that you want to be where your people are. So we can say that's where our people are, right? And further to that, I think there's this tricky point where you go from being a casual user of social media because it's fun and that's where you network with people, whatever, to then it being a business activity. And there's this awkward phase of like, you're actually, you need to engage with it in a different way. Not all the time. You can still use it for fun and chatting with your friends and whatever. But being that you're now doing it as a business activity, there is some kind of, there's a responsibility or a consistency that needs to occur in how you use it so that it can be of good effect.
Yep, for sure. And in that transition, that's where I think a lot of people screw it up or find it difficult to transition over because you kind of think, oh, this is so different. I need to be kind of a different person. I find that.
Yeah.
It's easy to just post something that is you're just throwing it out. There's just a picture of my daughter.
Yeah.
But when it comes to doing your business, you kind of stumble a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. And I guess in that scenario, a lot of people think I need to create a separate account.
Yes.
So they're like, let's do that. And then, whatever, you can do that. Suggest not in the beginning. But in any case. All right. So I got 3 tips.
Go to it.
First one. And I gave this to one of the coaches here at our gym this week. He sent through some marketing content. It was like, hey, man, I'm thinking about making some videos around this and putting them onto my Instagram. Can you review the writing and tell me what you think? Really good. Really nice. But first thing that jumped out at me, first bit of feedback I gave him was write it about them, not about yourself.
Right.
So the writing was, this is who I am, this is what I believe in, I feel passionately about X because my experience has been, right?
Gotcha.
It's all about him.
How would you do it? What's a better way to do it?
Write it about them, right? So them. So, who are they? Well, you already have an idea of who they are.
Yeah.
So I don't know, let's say they're young fathers, struggling to balance life and training and, health and all that sort of stuff. Instead of me being like, hey, I'm Joey, I'm a young dad and I have sleepless nights and I know what it's like to, hold down because, I got a small business and 2 kids and blah, blah, blah. Versus, I know you're tired and I know that you struggle to balance things. And I understand what it's like to feel like you're doing a bad job of everything. fatherhood is tough. And then, maybe like I'm a dad too, kind of like throwaway thing.
So
but
why'd you pick that topic and look at me like that?
right?
What do I do next, Joey?
What do I do? Get your credit card. But
Yeah, totally.
yeah, like talking to you. And so it's the same as if we're actually having a conversation.
Yep.
And I'm like, and I'm showing empathy and I'm like, bro, I feel you. Yeah, yeah, it's tough, man. I know, I'm going to throw in little like, yep, I got kids too. But anyway, yeah, tell me more about you kind of thing.
It's so easy to do that.
Yeah, so easy. Because we're good at talking about ourselves.
Mm.
That was a tip that John Marsh gave me, which I got to give him a shout out for that. It's pivotal to talk about them. People don't, they're like, we're selfish in a kind of, in a not an awful way.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't give a fuck about you. You'd maybe care at some point where you're like, well, how do what makes you an authority on this? And so then when you say, I'm also a father of kids and then you're like, okay, cool, give some credibility. But on the whole,
makes so much sense. And I guess we're talking about, like you said, it's marketing. It's where you're going into putting something out there with the hope of capturing the attention of an audience. So I guess you're making these very conscious adjustments because you want to catch someone's attention and you want to build some rapport with them so that they can come into your scope more. I think that's a super technique. I could do that more.
Feel free to avail this. These wonderful 3 tips. Second one, and this one is paramount in, I think, anyone that's in the health industry, doctors, physios, personal trainers. Speak to your people. Don't speak to your work colleagues. Let me clarify that even further. Don't give me all the technical bullshit that shows that you know everything about shoulder function, the importance of scapular elevation and internal rotation, because the person that needs to hear it and the person generally that you're speaking to doesn't understand that shit. All it does is just lose them. Whereas we often feel like, particularly in the training realm, that we have to talk in a way that other coaches will respect. You're trying to show the other coaches that I've got clout. I know what's up. I'll talk to you about fucking, torso, femur relationship in the squat.
You're kind of thinking of, you're thinking of your colleagues and the critiques of your colleagues when you're writing it.
That's right. You're generally writing from a place of insecurity because you're concerned you're going to be judged. And you also think that all of your colleagues are reading your content.
Ha!
I mean, they're
not.
They're looking at it, right? They're like, oh, cool, but I don't give a fuck. Like, if you post about the squat, I'm there to support you. I'm like, that's sick, Paulie, like that you posted some, I like the video, but like, I don't, I already know what you think about the squat, generally.
It doesn't mean to say you can't point out, some technical aspects of it, but keep it really simple and relatable to your audience.
Exactly. Really simple. And I find people who do this the most are like physiotherapists who are just sort of finding their feet on social media, and they just, because they, as personal trainers and stuff, we're not highly technical, right? Like we're not highly trained in any of that stuff. So, we try to flex a bit more. But physios and stuff have been through like 4 years of this shit. They have all the technical understanding and they just spill way too much. You're like, brother, you're losing me.
Yeah.
I just want to fix my sore shoulder. I don't want to become I don't want to read this and become an exercise physiologist.
It's the type of thing of like, tell me you're a physiologist without telling me. Physiotherapist, rather.
Yeah.
Without telling me. They feel probably like they have to separate themselves from the PT.
Yeah. From the PT, from the influencers.
Yeah. So maybe they should just say, hey, I'm a physiotherapist. Here's 3 simple tips.
Well, the irony too is that they have to separate themselves from the influencers by becoming an influencer. So you know what I mean? Like we're
Yeah.
all deciding to play that game.
Yes.
You know, but you know, this also I should have said at the start. This extends outside of social media, right? This might be email marketing. This might be, you know, this might be you writing up some content for posters that go in your gym, or you know, a flyer that you give to new members. To, you know, like this all really applies to any kind of copy. You know, writing copy.
Yeah, I like that one. God damn it. I feel like you're running this list for me. I've been guilty of that for sure. And it's always a good reminder.
Yeah, we all have. And then the third one, and this is probably more specific for social media and, you know, podcasting, whatever, but don't be afraid to repeat yourself regularly. And I'll give you a good example of this. One of the greatest social media influencers of our time, James Smith. What does he consistently talk about in seemingly every video of his that you watch?
He's talking about weight loss.
Yeah, and what's his mechanism for weight loss?
Fucking energy in, energy out.
Yep.
And he's like, everything else is fucking bullshit.
Energy balance, calorie deficit. Do you think that when James Smith sets out to make a video, he's like, I've been talking about calorie deficits quite a bit lately. Need to come up with something else. Like, how many videos do you reckon that guy's done on calorie deficits?
Still watch them.
Right?
They come along.
They're still great.
He's entertaining.
It's entertaining. You're like, fuck, slick video. Like, ooh, got my attention.
He's got an accent.
Yeah, that's right. He's, you know, like got it all going on. So people need to be told consistently, you know, about the things that, like if we're trying to influence people to live healthier, move their bodies more, embrace strength as a concept, you know, build a lifestyle around exercise and whatnot, we need to remind them of that all the time because, you know, there's so many reasons why. One is they might not have seen the other 17 posts you did on that. They might have just started following you today. But the second is you've told them 17 times, but they still aren't doing it, right?
Yeah.
The other reason is, or another reason is, they just need to be told consistently because it's easy to drop off. So you're just reinforcing, holding people accountable. You know, the algorithm may not have brought that post to them. They might have been following you for ages, but they didn't see that video or get that email or whatever.
For all the people I follow, I don't think I've ever thought to myself, oh, they're repeating themselves.
No.
Either. Like, when have you ever felt that way? You just know that that's what they're about. Pretty much.
What do you know? What's range of strength's message? Like if James Smith is calorie deficit, energy balance, what's range of strength stuff?
Oh, don't look at his so much.
Okay. Who's someone? You give me someone. Maybe. Do we follow the same people?
Oh,
Maybe
well,
not.
range of strength, he's getting flexible and staying jacked.
Yep. I think he's like, fuck, I've been talking about stretching and strengthening quite a bit lately. Need to come up with something else.
No.
Right?
That's what his brand's about, and it keeps the message nice and clear. He's got all the fucking strongman stuff in there.
Yep.
Which is awesome, and usually it's flexing the same message inside of it, which is, you know, range through like strength through fucking range.
Yep.
I'm writing these notes down. I'm taking that book off you.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty simple, right? Because you get to the okay, I'm going to do some content, right? Let's shoot some stuff, and then you're like, fuck, I need new ideas, man. Shit, it's hard to come up with new ideas. No, you don't actually. You know,
and that waters down your message potentially if you're just doing something different. I mean, you have your pillars, but you want to keep it consistent and somewhat in the middle of your message.
Yeah. Yep. You know, you're not like people aren't looking at your marketing in a vacuum. It's not just them in a dark room and then whatever you post on Instagram coming to their, they got all this other shit that is on that platform, is on their phone, is in their life, is in their workplace. And you're just one little fucking thing, one little messenger that's trying to get your message through. So you're actually doing yourself a disservice if you're trying to cover new ground all the time.
You can scroll through like 10 posts in 5 seconds. You go through it really quickly.
Yeah.
And that's not even a fast pace. That's just like kind of waiting for something to stop and hit. You do go through a lot. This is hitting home.
Yeah. Just waiting for James Smith to be like, calorie deficit.
That's right.
And you're like, tell me more, bruv.
That's right.
That's it. That's my 3 tips for today.
I like it.
I got more, but let's just keep it at that because I want it to be very digestible for folks.
It's not like something that I think straight away. And I guess it's a tip as well. Not to say I'm anywhere near a master, but it takes practice, really. Like I look at those and I go, yeah, it takes time. For instance, the writing, the first point, like, you're not going to master it straight away. You have to do it and get some reps with it, and it's going to get better over time. You always taught me that type of getting into a routine with it and getting it out there is just basically sharpening your sword all the time. So every time that you do it, maybe it's not perfect, you're getting slightly better all the time. But there's this whole thing that when it goes out, it is public, so it's supposed to be perfect at that time. But how do you ever get feedback on it if you're waiting to make the perfect post all the time?
That's
right.
I'm
just saying, like, you just got to do it and put it out there and know that you're going to get better over time.
But it also is perfect every time. Your perfect gets better. Do you know what I mean? Because you can't, like, if you're making a reel and putting some captioning on it, like, sure, you're going to look back at that in 3 months' time and be like, oh, I could have done that way better. But that was the best you could do at that time.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So then the question is like, well, are you trying to talk? Like, my English will hopefully improve as I get older. So the quality of how I speak in a conversation with someone will be better. I'll look back at how I spoke on these podcasts and be like, damn, that was some rough shit. Does that mean I shouldn't do the podcast now?
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, well, you've got a message. If you have a message and you believe in it, then share the message.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot in that. The habit is huge, and just not giving a fuck what other people think is big. But let's save that. Let's dive into those on another one.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it is a big game, but I think when you go back to the start, and you were just saying about the marketing thing, it becomes such an important part of a coach's business. I always find it's one of those, there's a lot of things in coaching and gym owning that are part of delivering it that you don't really look at the beginning. But at some stage, it's going to hold you back from progressing into, wherever it is, more clients or into a online business from face to face. And you have to address the marketing thing at some point. But as you were saying, like, we're kind of always doing some sort of marketing of yourself, just as a person. You're a coach, you're trying to be a likable person if you're a relatively normal human being. So you're just putting something out. I guess it's just when you're trying to distill it into a written message, sometimes it gets like a little tricky, but it's kind of the same thing. You're just trying to transfer that into another medium.
Yeah. The other thing too that makes it tricky there is we've all been trained to write in a particular way. We've all been trained to write as we were taught in school, which is like essay format. We've not, whereas copywriting should be conversational, should be written in the way that we're speaking to each other now.
And when you say should be, do you mean for a particular platform, just generally speaking for audiences, it's moved that way, or is it should be that way?
It should, yeah.
In marketing, it should always be that way because you're trying to reach.
Well, you're trying to speak to people.
Yeah.
You're trying to like get into their head. Whereas if you read any of Michael Salter's academic papers, they're readable. But an academic paper is very hard to read.
I've been trying to read a lot of them lately.
Right? Yeah, obviously if I were an academic, it'd be a lot easier. But because they're written in a format that is like showing you are of that standard. But when I'm talking to you, I have incomplete sentences. I have pauses. I don't use the correct grammar. And so that was definitely how we were not trained to write in school.
It's true.
You know? So, yeah, I think learning how to write in that way is also a huge thing for people to get used to.
Unless you're an academic, or unless you're a coach who's looking for that small niche of absolute geeks who want all of that technical shit. You're like, I'm going out to find those people.
Yeah, but there's probably still a middle ground, right? Where you can express all of that, but it can still be engaging. And because I would also say that even like Michael Salter, if he's on social media, he's still there for the same reason that you and I are. He's just looking for a bit of an escape and some, quick fucking dopamine hits or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but when he's sitting down and I don't know, reviewing like Google Scholar, he's looking for a different thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's still, like even though we have different levels of whatever, we still need to write in a way that is engaging and easy to get into. And that doesn't mean you can't share big concepts or flex your knowledge.
It's true. So true. What's the name of the astrophysicist, the black dude?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah. He's got a way about it.
Yeah, he's one of the few that can take astrophysics and dumb it down in a way that's extremely digestible, can't he?
And he doesn't lose his position.
No, he's admired because of it.
Mm.
Yeah, that's right. Malcolm Gladwell would be another example.
Mm.
Yuval Noah Harari, the guy that wrote *Sapiens*. They can like present these huge ideas in like really easy to understand terms.
Yep.
And so I think that's the golden key right there.
Yeah, like that's the highest level
type
of thing. That's what you're striving for. Which is, you could say that's what you're doing in your coaching realm all the time. You're trying to get something potentially very complicated and very difficult to show up in training, and you're trying to do that by cueing in a certain way, designing your language or your program in a simple way to actually get the result out, not necessarily to bog them down with too much information.
Yep. There it is. Hey, speaking of marketing, if you are listening to this and you are interested in the idea of owning a Jungle Alliance gym someday, you can sit down with me for 20 minutes and I'll walk you through the journey. No obligation. If you just want to know how that process works, maybe you're interested in someday doing it, let me know. info@junglealliance.com and we can book it in.
How did the weekend go?
Weekend went really well.
Yeah, the internship?
Yeah, it was great. Yep, we had 10 humans in here. Some new coaches from the gym, potential new coaches, a couple of people from Pedro's gym.
Wicked.
Returning crew from Newcastle. Maddie was there. Yeah, it was sick.
We've got the Jungle Alliance gathering coming up too, yeah?
We do.
That's only a few weeks away?
It is, like 6 weeks away.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think,
cool.
yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, late July. Yeah, it's going to be good. That is our exclusive event for Ally Gym owners. So it'll be the first. It's going to be our mid-year Christmas party for the gym bosses.
Is it going to be loose?
A little bit. Bit of looseness, bit of professional development. Trying to strike a nice balance. Much like our Christmas party.
Oh, yeah. Not always a good balance there, but I get it.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, bro.